Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel, and today I have another story time. And by the title, I guess you can see what I'm going to talk about. But if you're new here, go ahead and subscribe to my channel, like this video, and leave a comment down below. This is going to be a little juicy. I sort of had two boyfriends, but let's get into this story time. Let's go. So y'all, this happened some years ago. All of the story times I'm going to tell pretty much are going to be from years ago because these are past experiences and they're pretty funny not to tell anyone. So here we go. I met this guy, we're going to call him Odie. He was a little older than I was, but hey, I like older men. It was all good. He wasn't really my type or anything like that, but his conversation was very good. We had a good time on the phone. He had me laughing. He kept up text. What I love is when I text somebody and they text back within the next 2 minutes. I love that. He was on that type of energy, so that's why he held my attention so long. And so we would talk on the phone, kick it on the phone and text and stuff like that. So eventually it's time for us to meet. And he asked me on a date. And of course I say yes, you know what I mean? So I did get a little background about him. He said that he was not working at the time because he was waiting on some disability things to come through. So he didn't have a job and he didn't have a car, but he was working on it. So I'm like, cool, whatever. Hey, I'm young. I didn't have a car either. I did have a job, but I didn't have a car. So who the hell am I to say something about him, right? So I'm like, cool, whatever. Let's hang out. You could come pick me up, and we set a date, and that day came. So the day come, and I get that I'm outside text, and I go down outside, and it was this great car. I don't remember what kind of car. I am horrible with cars. Anyway, it was a great car. And I walk up to the car and it's someone's driving. And I get in the back seat because Odie is in the front. So I get in the back seat and I'm like, hey, driver. And we're just going to call him Jay. So Jay was like, hey, how you doing? And I'm like, hey, how are you? And so Odie looks back at me and we're talking. And he's like, well, it's nice to finally meet you. You're so pretty. And this, and that, and the third. And I'm like, hey, you look better than you look better than your pictures. You kind of handsome as well. I like this. So we all three kicking and vibing in the car. There was a vibe, y'all. That was very mature and very nice, both of them. And Jay was his cousin. So their energy kind of bounced off each other. You know how two cousins do when they get along very well, their energy bounce off and they get along very good. So that's how their relationship was. I can see. Um, but let me mention something. So Jay did offer Odie like $200-300 every time I got in the car. I would see Jay pass him like hundreds, and I just didn't understand it. And I also mind my business because that was none of my business. So that was the thing. And then they would like give me the utmost princess treatment. Like as soon as I would get in the car, they would be like, well, Odie would be like, what do you want to eat? Do you want something to drink? Where do you want to go hang out today? Almost every single time. So I really enjoyed the company. I was just feeling like so princessy, you know what I mean? And the best part about this, we had hung out a few days already into this, physically, and it was nothing sexual. Like Odie barely even texted me. He'll compliment my thighs or something like that, but it was nothing, never really sexual. So that's what kept me comfortable, and you know what I mean, kept me around, kept me wanting to hang with both of them almost every single day. Once I met them, before I'm even up, I would wake up and I would see like text messages from Odie been like, yo, good morning, get up, let's go, we finna pick you up every single morning. And so it was a thing, like every single day. I just knew that we was gonna hang out and I was excited about it. So let's get to the instances where I felt like I had two boyfriends. So this day, like I told y'all, I would wake up and I would already have a text saying, get ready, let's go. um I don't know what happened this day. I'm not sure if I was busy, my phone was dead. I just remember I was in the kitchen washing some dishes and my dad opened the door and I hear this guy on the other end of the door and he's like, is Kayla home? And my dad's like, no, Kayla, stay here. And my dad closes the door. And so I run out to the door and my dad looking at me. I'm like, Dad, don't worry about it. And so I look out the door and it's Jay. And Jay was like, yo, he was like, I thought your name was Kayla and your dad said he wasn't home. I'm like, yeah, yeah. Kayla is my nickname. I told y'all. And yeah. And so they was pretty much happy. They waited outside of my house for about 30 to 40 minutes because I had to finish washing dishes. I had to take a shower and I had to get ready. And they waited outside patiently for me, both of them. And so that's when I started to feel like, how come Jay don't, have like a girlfriend? Or how come he don't let Odie use the car so that we can have some alone time? But apparently he enjoyed hanging out with us and he enjoyed being the third wheel. But so I get out there and I get in the car. And you know how I said Odie would always sit in the passenger seat and Jay would drive. And then like that middle console where you put the armrest. So I'm sitting in the back seat and I will put my foot up occasionally in the middle. And this day, Odie started rubbing the top of my foot, right? Like he started massaging my toes. And then right after, Jay, he grabs my foot and he started rubbing the bottom of my foot, and they're doing it at the same time. Now, I did feel a little uncomfortable because this is the first time something like this has ever happened to me with two guys before, and they're not fighting or they're not throwing jabs at each other or throwing shade at each other or playing, you know what I'm saying, beating on each other, trying to see who's better. They were in cahoots, like they were one band, one sound, and I was just like, just there. And again, the reason why I feel like I kept coming around was because they was not sexual with me. They didn't make me feel uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Odie, he didn't really like say much to me sexually. He just complimented me and we kept it moving. So I feel like that's why I kept coming around, because I was so comfortable and I was being treated like a queen. Like, who doesn't want that? And so, I'm just sitting in the back seat, and that's when the first time it clicked in my brain, like, hey, this is a little weird. Usually with two guys, it don't usually be like that, but with these two, it was like that. And so we just gonna fast forward a little bit, and we're gonna keep going here. Another instance was they used to smoke a little bit, and I don't think I was at the time. So you remember how I said we just would ride the streets all day and go hit up restaurants or places. So sometimes they wanted to smoke and he didn't want to smoke in the car. We would go pull up to parks or whatever, and we would go, chill over there while they can smoke. And at this specific park, I remember there was like this swing type of thing where you can sit in, and it was shaped like an egg. So when you sat in it, it's like it covered like your whole body kind of type thing. I don't know how to explain it. Anyways, while they were on the bench, I went over there and I sat in it to chill and relax or whatever. And so a couple of minutes go by and Odie walks up behind me and he started rubbing the back of my shoulders. So I'm like sitting in the thing and he's rubbing the back of my shoulders, and I closed my eyes eventually because it's starting to feel good. And so y'all remember that scene from White Chicks when the lady was laying on the beach and she just was relaxing and she opened her eyes and his big black butt was just standing over her. So Odie's rubbing my shoulders and I'm leaning back enjoying it. Tell me why I open my eyes and Jay is standing in front of me. So Jay is standing in front of me and he grabs my legs, and he didn't do anything like pull them back, but he kind of lifts my legs up and put them around his waist, and he was just like caressing my legs. Like he wouldn't even go like up towards my thigh pelvis area. He just stayed like to the lower bottom, like he just was rubbing my legs but had my legs wrapped around him. At the same time, Jay was in front of me with my legs wrapped in front of him. And again, it felt uncomfortable, but it didn't feel like sexual. You know what I mean? I felt very comfortable, and it was one of a kind of experience that experience something like that and not have the two men fighting each other or like trying to I don't know. It's just I can't explain it. It was very nice. So that was another instance. We're gonna get to another one. And so another instance, y'all, where I felt like I had two men with these two. I used to work at the YMCA, and I used to work from like 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Tell me why these two used to be in the parking lot at 4:30 on the dot waiting for me every single day. I used to work Monday through Friday. 4:30, them two was in the parking lot waiting on me to get off work so that we can hit the streets and do hood rat stuff, of course. And so You know, it was a thing. And every single day I just knew that they were going to be there waiting on me, both of them, one band, one sound, like I said. So I felt like I had two boyfriends. And then that was the day that me and Jay actually exchanged numbers in front of Otis, because he asked for it in front of Otis. When I got off work, I got in the car, and Otis was like, "I've been calling your phone, I guess my phone was dead." And Jay was like, "Yeah, can I have your number?" And Odie just sat there. He sat there, and I was like, "Yeah, you can have my number." And so y'all know where that went. We all started texting. I'm texting Odie. I'm texting Jay, and I'm asking both of them. I'm like, "Hey, you don't mind that Jay asked for my number?" And he was just like, "No, no, no." And so let me be honest here, just really, really, really fast. That's why I can't wait to get my membership so that we can have some explicit talks. Um, But let me just say, most women, some women, have a fantasy of having two men, or not even just being in a relationship, or just being having two husbands, just doing, you know what I mean? Just a lot of women have fantasies about that, and then we didn't never we didn't ever get to that point, but let me just say it's something that I've thought about since then. And it's just, whatever. Let's move on. So that was just another thing that Jay asked for my number, and Odie really didn't say much. So let's fast forward a little bit. So and down here in Florida, we have like these little resorts in Key West where you don't have to stay days at a time or a day. You can have it for like hours at a time, like at the resort, where you can get in the pool, enjoy the bar, the pool, the water, things like that. And so we went down to Key West, and we did that for like 6 hours. And so I guess we got too exhausted at the pool. We had a good time. Jay would buy me drinks. Otis would buy me food. One would rub my back. The other one would rub my feet. I'm talking about just bliss. I can't forget it. And and so I guess we got too tired. We were drunk. And I don't know if you guys familiar, but Key West is a ride from Miami. It's a little ride, especially when you've been drinking. So we decided to stay the night there. And of course, it was a huge, 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 huge room. It was a nice suite. It was huge, huge bed. But it was only one bed. So you know where I'm going with this, right, ladies? Maybe not. So I had to sleep in the middle. So I'm in the middle. Jay is to my left, Otis to my right. And yeah. Nothing really happened. No, nothing like this happened. But it could have like like one was rubbing one spot and the other was rubbing the other spot, but it was never actual. No, you know what I mean. So, and when I tell you it was like sleeping with two husbands, it was so weird. If any woman ever experienced this, and I'm not saying this to be braggish because it's not really a good thing, but hey, they both were into it. So have any ladies ever experienced having like two boyfriends at one time? Just leave your comments down below and let's talk about it, because that was an experience of a lifetime. And because I really just appreciated how just the princess treatment they gave me. And again, every day Jay is passing Odie money, $200-300 every single day, $200-300, and I'm in the back seat, not even really paying attention to none of that, because that's not my business. That's men business. You know what I mean? So we leave in the hotel, and this is days past now. So um so Odie had to move out of town, and it's been some months now, almost a year or two later. And I come across, I see Odie again, and online, and he wrote me. He's like, "What's up? How you been?" or whatever. And we just catching up, and he telling me he have a kid now, and he want to get married or whatever. I don't know. Maybe the nigga was just in love. I don't know, cause he have none of he have a child, but he's not married today. Um, he's just far. He's in another state, and and I'm like, "Hey, it's good talking to you. Whatever." Fast forward a little more. I see Jay. So I see Jay, and yeah. I wish I could like start a membership now so that I can tell y'all what happened between me and Jay with explicit details. But I'm gonna keep it cute right now. So Jay, we know we catch up. We started hanging again. You know what I mean? Without Odie because Odie is now in love with someone and he's out of state. So now it's just me and Jay. And Jay goes to tell me, he break down the little details of the questions I had. I'm like, well, if Odie didn't have a job, why was you giving him like hundreds of dollars every day? And Jay goes to tell me, he's like, well, when my grandma passed, when we first met you, my grandma had just passed and I had some inheritance, and so that's how I got that car, and I had a bunch of money and I was just giving it to him. You So every single day I got in the car with these two. Remember I told you I would see Jake pass Odie like two, $300, $400 every single day. He was literally just giving this man his money just because he was his big cousin. It was the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. And I was telling him, I said, well, I just met you two, but if I had known that you were doing that, I would have kind of like said something and advised you to not do that. You don't just give a nigga your money because he your bigger cousin. And then it's not like you was giving him $20, $30. You was giving him $200, $300, $400 every single day. Anyways, we move on from that. We start talking a little more. We hanging out or whatever, and we start taking a like to each other, and I'm like, yeah, this is cool. Like, and I mentioned it to him. I'm like, yo, when we were all three of us was hanging together, it kind of felt like I had two boyfriends, and he did not deny it, y'all. He just laughed. He laughed. So when somebody laugh at an assumption, what that mean, right? I had two boyfriends. Anyways, silly stuff. So we talking and we taking a like to each other, and eventually we end up. I was working in a hotel at that time, and eventually we end up getting a room. And make a long story short, I was sitting on a bench in the room and I had my legs crossed, and he saw my leg and he started rubbing up my leg, and it was just like his mind was just like this and my mind was like this, and they went like this. Now that was the first time I had encountered, like, got sexual with either one of them. I never had got sexual with Odie, but Jay, I gotta say, boyfriend, if you watching, please click off. That was some of the best. That was some of the best. That was. Let's move on. So, anyways, that goes on for a little bit, and then as time goes on and on and on and things like that, I start to learn his life a little more. So I start to see the real. So now the money has passed, and he's Odie is no longer down here, and now he's just living life how he's supposed to with like everybody else. And so I see the real coming out. So he did work. He kept a good job. He did his thing or whatnot. But he did try to finance this car, and it screwed him over. He tried to finance this car, screwed him over. So now he didn't have a car. I would have to pick him up sometimes, which I did not like. All the time, it was crazy. You know what I mean? I picked him up sometimes, but all the time I couldn't do, and he would get mad about that sometimes. So one night I got pulled over, and he just left me there. I got pulled over and he just left me there. And then I don't know, it just started, we just started separating. That's just how life works. You know what I mean? But I just will never forget those two. If he actually wrote me on Facebook not too long ago, and I just pretty much told him I'm in a relationship. There's nothing I can do to talk. I can't talk to you or anything like that. I've been with my guy for 7 years. I occasionally have people hit me up in my inbox all the time, every other year, to make sure I'm still with this guy. Yes, I am. But that was just a quick little story time about how I had two boyfriends, and it was lovely. I was treated like a princess to the utmost. And ladies, can I not be judged by having two boyfriends? Because have you not thought about it? Have you not thought about it? Not once. Or maybe you just probably never experienced it. Or maybe, fellas, have y'all ever had like two girlfriends and everything was just in harmony, in sync? If y'all ever experienced something like that, I want to know what y'all feel down in the comments below, because I want to talk about this. I just can't wait to get my membership, child. I have to just censor myself so much on here, and it's ridiculous, but it's okay. We're gonna get through this. I would love for y'all to keep supporting me, keep watching me, keep subscribing, keep liking my videos. That's helping me grow. I'm so excited, y'all. And yeah, I don't really have much to say else about those two guys. It's just that sometimes they cross my mind. I even told my boyfriend about this time that I had two boyfriends, y'all. Like seriously, I even told him about it, and we laugh about it. But it was some of the best times I had. It was fun. I got to experience something like that as a young lady, without it being too overbearing and too much. And again, I want to have a conversation in the comment section, because that's the only way I know how to with this, and no judgment zone over here, because I do express a lot of the things that I have done in my past when I was younger, and even some story times are going to be more current. But this is what this for me to build a community of people that loves to watch me, and I love to hear from y'all, y'all feedback and everything like that. And this is what I wanted, so I feel like I'm building it. um I really appreciate y'all watching me, and I think that will conclude this story time for now. If y'all come in the comments with the stuff, I'm gonna fire back at you. So don't try it. I love y'all, and thank you for watching my channel. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment this video. And until next time, I'm out.